Picture yourself waking up tomorrow morning, feeling a little nervous because there's something important waiting for you. Maybe you need to speak English in a job interview, or give a short talk in class, or even just make a good impression on someone new you're meeting. You've studied vocabulary lists, read grammar books, maybe you even watch movies with subtitles, but somehow when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. Words slip away, or you suddenly forget how to form a proper sentence. It's like there's an invisible wall between the English you know in your head and the English you need to say out loud. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. The good news is that you can break through this wall, and you can do it much faster than you think, just by using simple but powerful techniques that push you to speak in English. It might feel scary, but as I walk you through these ideas, you'll realize speaking isn't about perfection. It's about confidence, consistency, and making the English you already know come out naturally. You have more English inside you than you realize. It's time to let it flow. Whenever we're learning a second language, especially English, there's a tendency to cling to grammar rules and focus on reading and writing. That's because most language courses devote many hours to grammar drills and fill-in-the-blank exercises. But think about it. If you meet a native speaker, do they test you on irregular verbs? Not usually. They just talk and they expect you to talk back to connect with them in a conversation. So it's essential to develop a speaking habit, an active daily habit. The best news: you can start seeing real progress in about a week if you dive in wholeheartedly. Let's begin by recognizing the biggest obstacle in speaking a new language: fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of embarrassing yourself, fear of not being understood. That fear can freeze your tongue even though your brain knows the words. So the first step is giving yourself permission to make mistakes. Seriously, if you plan on having perfect English from day one of your speaking practice, you'll never speak. You'll stay in your comfort zone. You might think, but if I keep making mistakes, won't I develop bad habits? Possibly, but only if you never listen to feedback or pay attention to corrections. Mistakes are how you learn. You can't get to fluent, natural speech without stumbling a bit at the start. It's part of the journey. Now I want you to imagine a fun challenge. For the next 7 days, you're going to find new ways, sometimes silly, sometimes surprising, to get your mouth and brain comfortable with English. First, pretend that you've traveled to a country where nobody speaks your native language. From the moment you wake up, you talk to yourself in English about the simplest things. You look at your bed and say out loud, "I'm getting out of bed because I want some breakfast." As you make your breakfast, you comment on what you're doing. "I'm cracking 2 eggs into a bowl. I'll fry them. I like my eggs slightly runny." If you're not sure how to say something, you describe it differently. "I need that tool to flip eggs. Oh, what's it called? A spatula. Yes, spatula." You do this all day. If you live with friends or family, let them know you're in a challenge. If they speak the same mother tongue as you, ask them to help you by trying to answer in English, or at least letting you finish your English sentences. This is your immersion day, pushing your brain to recall every word it knows and find alternative phrasing if a specific word doesn't come to mind. Even though this first day might feel silly, and you'll probably speak slower than you'd like, the effect is huge. By forcing yourself to use English for every little thought, you're mimicking how a child learns. A child doesn't worry about grammar textbooks. They just say words that come to mind, eventually getting corrected or hearing better phrases from others. You'll notice that your mind starts to think in English if you keep up the immersion. It's a powerful feeling. On the second day, try a mirror exercise. This one might make you laugh at first, but it's incredibly helpful for building confidence and improving the way your mouth moves. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and talk for 3 to 5 minutes about anything you like. It can be a story from your day, a memory from childhood, or a dream you had last night. Just keep talking. When you watch yourself speak, you become aware of your facial expressions, your mouth positions, and your overall presence. It's almost like rehearsal for a real-life conversation. If you stumble on a word, let yourself pause, breathe, and then try again. You'll see how you react to mistakes. Maybe you scrunch your face, maybe you laugh. Over time, you'll realize it's not such a big deal. You'll learn to correct your posture, project your voice, and keep your face relaxed. This level of self-awareness is a huge step towards speaking more fluently and confidently with other people. Because if you can handle looking at yourself without fear, talking to someone else will feel easier. After you've gotten used to speaking all day in English and practicing in front of a mirror, it's time to introduce a playful trick: the muted movie or TV show game. Pick a scene from a show or film you love, preferably something that originally has English dialogue. Mute the scene, watch the characters, and voice your own lines for them in English. You can guess what they're saying, or just make up silly lines that match their emotional expressions. Yes, it might be nonsense at first, but you're forcing yourself to generate continuous English speech spontaneously. You're also matching facial expressions, which means you're practicing the rhythm and emotion behind English dialogue. This is essentially pretend acting. If you're more comfortable, do the opposite. Keep the volume on for a short scene of 20 seconds, listen carefully, then rewind and repeat the lines exactly as the characters say them, copying the speed, tone, and emotion. By doing this short, shadowing exercise, you train your mouth and ear to connect more naturally. If you keep doing this daily for a week, you'll see a noticeable improvement in your ability to imitate native intonation and pacing. On the next day, move on to what I call the audio diary. Instead of writing a diary entry at night, record yourself on your phone for 2 or 3 minutes. Talk about your day, what you did, how you felt, funny moments, or even your plans for tomorrow. Then listen back to yourself. This can be cringy at first because you might hate the sound of your own voice or notice random grammar mistakes. But that's the gold. By hearing yourself after the fact, you spot patterns you never realized. Maybe you keep using the same filler words like or or maybe you realize you mix up certain verb tenses. Once you're aware of them, you can fix them. Also, listening to a recording of your voice helps you understand your pronunciation and pacing. In just a few days, you'll become used to your own voice and you'll adjust how you speak, so you sound clearer and more confident. Even better, over the week, you'll have a series of recordings showing your progress. Compare your Day 1 diary to your Day 7 diary and see how far you've come. Now let's add some music into the mix. Singing is a powerful way to learn a language because songs help us remember phrases, rhythms, and pronunciation more quickly. Pick an English song you like, something with lyrics that aren't too fast or complicated. Print out or look up the lyrics, then sing along. Don't worry if your singing voice is out of tune. You're not auditioning for a musical. Focus on the words, the way they rise and fall, the stress patterns, the flow. Sing it until you can go through most lines comfortably. Then try singing it without looking at the lyrics. At first, you'll stumble, but you'll pick up the pattern soon enough. If you're really self-conscious, try singing in the shower where nobody can hear you. This method is perfect for internalizing the music of English. Plus, it's fun, which keeps you motivated. Now imagine you're 5 days into this routine. You've spoken English constantly, practiced in front of a mirror, mimicked movie scenes, recorded yourself, and even sung a song or two. Maybe your confidence is climbing. The next step is to find a way, any way, to actually speak with another human who knows English. A conversation partner is gold for your progress. If you have a friend, classmate, or coworker who's fluent or more advanced than you in English, propose an English-only rule for break times or coffee chats. If you can't do that in person, find an online language exchange partner. There are many forums and apps that connect learners around the world. The key is to have a real conversation, not just text messages. A few voice notes or short calls can do wonders. When you speak to a real person, it's normal to feel that spike of anxiety, but that's exactly why you do it. That rush forces your brain to adapt, and you'll see that after a few awkward moments, you start communicating more fluidly. It helps to set small conversation goals. For example, decide that today you'll talk about your favorite movie or your weekend plans for at least 5 minutes in English. Tomorrow, maybe you'll talk about your city or your family traditions. If you freeze, remember the earliest tip, describe around the missing word. If you don't recall restaurant, say the place where we go to eat dinner outside the house until your brain finds the word. Often, your conversation partner might supply the word, or you'll remember it mid-sentence. Every time you do this, you train your mental agility in English. You'll start to see that grammar you studied years ago now pops up more naturally in conversation. A crucial piece of advice is to measure progress by your willingness to speak, not by perfect grammar or accent. Many learners give up because they think they have to sound exactly like a native. That's not the point. The point is to communicate clearly and confidently. If your accent is strong but people understand you, that's a success. If you have a small grammar slip but nobody is confused, you're still speaking effectively. Of course, keep learning and refining your grammar. But remember that speaking is about being understood and connecting with people, not about impressing them with perfect structures. As your confidence rises, your grammar will follow suit because you'll have more real-time practice. Now let's talk about a powerful motivator, accountability. If you want to ensure you follow through with these daily speaking tasks for a week, tell someone you trust about your plan. It might be a friend, a sibling, or even on social media. Say, I'm doing a 7-day English speaking challenge, and I'll record a quick video or audio each day to show my progress. That public commitment pushes you to actually do it. Each morning, remember your goal. Speak English as much as possible, do at least 1 or 2 of the specialized exercises, and end the day with your audio diary or short mirror session. By the time the week is over, you'll have built a momentum that you won't want to stop. Remember, all of this might sound overwhelming, but it's actually fun when you start doing it. There's a playful element to each method. Talking to yourself, acting out movie scenes, singing songs, speaking with friends. Learning a new language can be a joyful process, not just a routine of memorizing words. If you embrace the slight craziness of these activities, you unlock more of your creative side, and that's when language learning becomes faster. You stop translating in your head from your mother tongue and start to think in English, because you're forcing your mind to handle English in real-time scenarios. That's the real key to fluency. If you want to go even deeper, try combining some of these techniques. For instance, after you do your voice diary one night, pick a snippet of what you said that day, something like, I really enjoyed reading that new comic book and I can't wait for the next issue, and set it to music. Yes, literally sing your own words, or act out your diary as if it's a dramatic monologue from a theater script. Is that silly? Absolutely. But the silliness is what stops your fear from controlling you. Once you get comfortable being silly in private, you'll feel less pressure in a normal conversation. If at any point during the week you find yourself stumbling or feeling discouraged, that's the best time to double down. Remind yourself that a mistake doesn't erase your progress. In fact, mistakes often speed up your learning. Suppose you realize you keep using the wrong tense. Great. Now you know a weak spot and you can focus on it next time you speak. Or if you keep mispronouncing a certain word, look up a quick pronunciation guide, practice it a few times, then record yourself saying it. In a day or two, you'll fix that error. One day of mistakes can lead to a lifetime of correct usage, as long as you're aware and keep practicing. On the last day of your 1-week challenge, plan a final test for yourself. Seek out a native speaker or advanced English speaker on purpose. It might be a local tourist, a friend of a friend, or someone online. Strike up a conversation, even if it's just 5 minutes. Note how you feel before, during, and after. Before, you might be nervous. During, you'll probably realize that you can do it, even if it's not flawless. And after, you'll likely feel relieved and proud. Compare that feeling to the one you had a week ago. You'll see a massive change in your self-confidence. That's a real victory. Maybe you'll still have plenty more to learn, but at least now you're unafraid to open your mouth and let the words flow. It's also important to keep your momentum going after the week is over. Language is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. So keep up some of these habits even in a smaller capacity. For example, pick one day each week when you speak only English at home, or record an audio diary every other night instead of every night. Perhaps keep shadowing short clips from a movie or TV show. Over the next month, you might not feel a giant leap every day, but the accumulation of small steps will bring you closer to genuine fluency. One day, maybe you'll be the one giving tips to another learner, telling them how you used these fun daily challenges to transform your English in just a short period. As we wrap this up, I want you to remember the heart of this method. You improve by doing, reading about English, studying grammar points, flipping through vocabulary lists. These help, but they're not the main event. The main event is speaking. Speak when you're alone, speak in front of the mirror, speak in front of a friend, speak on your phone's voice recorder. The more your mouth forms English words, the more your brain wires itself to handle English spontaneously. Don't let fear or doubt keep you quiet. Take that leap and watch how quickly you adapt. Picture yourself a week from now. You get up, you greet yourself in the mirror in English. You're more relaxed, more playful. You're not afraid of being silly or messing up. You do your mini diary or record a short message to a language partner. Maybe you even find yourself humming an English song in the shower. Later, you have a chance to chat with someone who's visiting from abroad, and guess what? You jump right in, exchange a few lines, ask how they're doing, talk about your city, share a small anecdote, and you realize you just did it spontaneously without translating. That's real progress. That's exactly where you want to be. So let this be your spark of inspiration. Take these ideas and make them your own. If you only have the courage to do some of them, that's still better than none. Just keep in mind that consistency is everything. Even if you can't do a full day of immersion, do an hour. If you can't do a 5-minute mirror exercise, do 2 minutes. If you only have time to watch a 30-second clip of a show to shadow the lines, do that. Every tiny effort accumulates. And who knows, maybe you'll find that these small bits of practice become the most fun parts of your day, because you're finally stepping into the active, speaking side of language learning, rather than passively studying. It's also helpful to celebrate small wins. If you manage to talk to yourself for 5 minutes straight in English without slipping into your native language, pat yourself on the back. If you memorize a verse from your favorite English song, treat yourself to something nice. If you manage to hold a 2-minute conversation with someone at a cafe, text a friend to share your excitement. These mini celebrations reinforce the habit and keep you motivated. Lastly, remember that the journey of improving English doesn't end after a week. This is just a jump start, a way to break out of your shell and realize how much you can accomplish in a short time. Once you get the hang of daily speaking, you can explore deeper grammar topics, advanced vocabulary, and cultural nuances. You might even become so comfortable that you look for bigger challenges. Maybe a local English speaking club, or an online debate group, or writing short essays or stories in English. The possibilities are endless once you conquer the fear of speaking. In conclusion, your mission is simple. Devote a week to making English a natural part of your day. Talk to yourself in English. Stand in front of the mirror and speak. Mute movies and be the voice actor. Record an audio diary each night. Sing English songs without fear. Chat with a friend or an online partner in English. Embrace mistakes, keep track of your progress, and celebrate every victory, no matter how small. By the seventh day, you'll look back and realize you've smashed through that invisible wall that used to hold your tongue hostage. You'll have proven to yourself that fluency is not about memorizing perfect grammar rules. It's about daring to speak boldly and consistently until your confidence outshines your hesitation. Take the leap, start talking, and watch your fluency bloom right before your eyes. It might just be the beginning of a new chapter in your life, one where English isn't a barrier but a bridge to more opportunities, friendships, and adventures. The best time to begin was yesterday. The next best time is now. So go ahead, switch your thinking to English mode for the next few hours and see how it feels. The transformation might amaze you. And if you keep going for a week, you'll be a completely different speaker by the end. You've got this.